Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's CJ. It's going to be a quick vid on how you can design a self-cleaning sump that's going to make maintenance so much easier for you in the hobby. So let's get to it. Now the basic idea behind this is making sure you design your return plumbing in a way to where half the water goes to your display and the other half cycles right back into the first chamber of your sump, filter sock, or basically wherever your mechanical filtration is. It's important that you don't bypass your mechanical filtration. Now the way you do this is up to you. You can use PVC plumbing like I did with a manifold and equipment, or you can easily just use soft hosing and a couple of ball valves. The main reason is just to make sure you can bypass your display and force that water back into your sump. So let me give you guys a quick idea on how it works on my system. Now the first step is to close off all water from my algae scrubber and my carbon reactor. The last thing I want is any of the pre-filters or the scrubber itself to get clogged with detritus and sand and basically everything else I'm trying to remove from the tank. Now the next step is isolating the sump from the main display. Now in order for this to work, you got to make sure you installed valves on all three lines, meaning your main drain, your return line, and your emergency line. You have to be able to shut them all off for this isolation to work. Now one very important thing to remember is that you never want your return permanent to dry during this process. So to avoid it, I normally let a gallon or two of water run through my emergency drain before I completely close off the valve and complete that isolation. So at this point, my main display and my sump are running completely separate, and how fast the sump cleans itself is going to depend on the flow or the turnover rate that's going through it. So I went ahead and cranked up the power on the Jabo DCT 12,000 pump, which is way oversized for my system, but perfect for this application, meaning 3,000 gallons per hour going through this small sump gives me roughly 100 to 150 times turnover an hour, which is really ridiculous, but when it comes to doing this as fast as possible, it definitely gets the job done. Now to help speed the process along, I did add 2 additional 950 gallon power heads. Now keep in mind, the goal is to keep all of the sediment and dust and detritus all suspended in the water column, so that way it makes it back through the sump over and over and finally can be removed by the filter floss or mechanical filtration. So after a few minutes of letting the self go through a few self-cleaning cycles, this is the end result. Is it completely spotless? Of course not. That's not realistic. But it definitely is a huge improvement, and even better, it didn't require me to pull out any buckets, start any siphons, or do any real, hard labor to make this happen. So that's the main benefit of this. Less labor with maintenance makes you more likely to do it. Now another added benefit of designing your sump this way comes to when it's actually running. When the display is running and everything's going together, it actually recycles the water over and over before it makes it back to your display, which further, amplifies and makes your biological filtration that much better, the contact time with your equipment that much better, and overall just your filtration that much better. So I think it's a good stopping point for the vid, so we're gonna leave it here. As always, hey, you guys like, comment, subscribe. You guys do what y'all do. Y'all be easy and happy reefing.